Morning, man. Bracy Skills Clinic's back with another video. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Y'all know the routine. Today, man, I'm repping the brand on my little walk. Brand page member. If y'all interested in the shirt, man, leave a comment in the comment section, man. I'll see about getting your shirt. If you're interested, you may not be. But let's get straight to it. I'm not going to waste y'all time no longer. We're going to talk about the Spurs, man. I haven't done a video since we signed the infamous future Hall of Famer Chris Paul, CP3, man. I'm seeing mixed reviews on it, mostly good, but I've seen a couple people try to play spoiler, basically, like, oh man, you guys are getting excited and Chris Paul's way beyond his prime and he's almost 40 years old. So I'm gonna give y'all my take on the Chris Paul deal. All right, I love it. I absolutely love it. I don't care what any hater has to say. I don't care if you're a Spurs fan and hate the move or you're just a Spurs hater and just don't want to give us credit. Regardless, man, I'm a fan of the move. And here's why. I'm gonna stick with Spurs fans. Spurs fans, for the most part, last year was frustrated all year about the low IQ plays at times from the point guard position and the lack of being able to see the floor. I mean, there was like memes all over TikTok last year and social media about like Wemby being open and nobody seeing him in the court vision. And you remember Trey Jones went viral for dribbling out the 24-second shot clock. There's so many plays I can pinpoint that, the Spurs went viral for in a bad way, basically not being able to give Wemby the ball, right? And we get one of the best passing point guards we've ever seen. I don't care if he's 40 years old. Like, yeah, he's not as fast as he used to be. Yeah, he's not as explosive as he used to be. But court vision is something that doesn't go away. That's number one. Let's just keep that in perspective. Like, what Chris Paul does well is he knows how to see the floor, and that doesn't go away. Okay, I know cats right now that play in open gyms right now. They 50, almost 60 years old, and they may not be able to run like they used to. They may not be able to defend like they used to, but damn it, they can pass that ball. The ones that got real court vision, they can still pass that ball. So keep that in perspective. The court vision is not going away. He's still an elite passer, even at his age right now. But even besides that, okay, let's say that did go away, right? It's not, but let's say it did, right? Chris Paul is still a veteran leader that's played this game at a high level, and he's a veteran leader that I also believe and know that the Spurs locker room will respect from day one. He's going to demand respect from day one. He's not going to let these young guys slack. He's also going to be on these young guys when they make a mistake, and he's going to be there for them to pick them up, to keep their confidence up. But he's going to do something to that culture. Now, I know the Spurs everybody's going to say, well, the Spurs already got a culture. Chris Paul doesn't have a ring. Spurs won 5 championships. I'm talking about this culture currently. Currently, there is no culture right now. They're trying to build one through the young guys. We're trying to get the culture back to what it once was. And I would love for Chris Paul to be the one to help these guys become better men on and off the court, because that's what he's definitely going to do. And he's gonna be there as a player coach role. Look at what he did for the Thunder. Chris Paul deserves a lot of credit for what he did with OKC during that bubble year, because that was a very critical time where everybody thought the Thunder were going to go full rebuild, which they technically did. But because Chris Paul's on their roster, they were still able to stay competitive. And it helped that team grow into what we see today. So if we get anything close to that with this group from Chris Paul, I think that's an absolute win. Okay, like veteran leadership is important. So I'm 100% behind that move. Great move. We got him for 1 year. Now, shout out to Miss Carolina. Okay, she's a Spurs reporter, writer. She's huge on social media. She has her own website. She actually used one of my tweets for her recent article. So shout out Miss Carolina. But she brought up a great point. I seen her recent video. Do you guys realize like that 8th pick that everybody was crying over with Rob, right? That pick would have been worth like $7 million a year, something like that. somewhere around there. I don't know the exact number, but it was something like that, right? And that trade for Chris Paul pretty much took care. That trade allowed us to basically pay for Chris Paul's contract for just 1 year. Like, that was a very smart move. And I'm not saying like, oh yeah, well, I'd rather have Chris Paul for the future than Rob. No, I'm not saying that. What I am saying is, by us trading that pick, we now are not financially obligated to paying lottery pick money to a player that is unproven, right? And then now you get Chris Paul for 1 year for $11 million. There's no long-term tie to Chris Paul. If we feel like he has a great year, I believe we'll definitely bring him back going forward. But there's no long-term. So we still can get Chris Paul in, somewhat be competitive with the group we have now, while still waiting on the De'Aaron Foxes and all those names I said in the last video to maybe come in and bring for the future, which all we got to do, to me, all we have to do is be competitive and maybe be like around the play-in area. And I think that's going to be enough to draw a mega star to come play in San Antonio. They just got to see us pointing upward. And I think the big names are going to want to come. I think they already want to come just for Wemby. But if they really see the progress on the court and it's leading to more wins, getting us in the playoffs, man, I told y'all, man, we have the NBA right in our hands. We can go get whatever star we want. We got the draft capital to do it. We got the cap space to do it. Oh man, that was a bug. Almost ran into me. But we got the draft capital to do it. We got the cap space to do it. So all we got to do is keep pointing up. So I'm 100% behind this Chris Paul move. I don't care what anyone has to say. I don't care about his age. I know what he's going to do for that locker room and those young guys. The next thing I want to talk about is the possible trade I'm seeing with Lauri Markkanen. Okay, Lauri Markkanen, I'm high on. Now, this is probably going to what I'm about to say is probably going to definitely ruffle some Spurs fans. I know it's going to piss some people off because of who I'm about to say. I seen where they said Devin Vassell may be the guy that Utah may be looking to get, right? Possibly. I've heard that in some rumors. I'm saying no. I wouldn't trade Devin Vassell. Who I would trade, and this is where I'm going to ruffle some feathers with this, I would definitely trade Jeremy Sohan for Lauri. Look, I already see y'all reactions right now, and I don't even see it. I just know some people is like, oh, my God, why? I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why I would trade Jeremy Sohan for Lauri. I know Jeremy Sohan is young. I know the last video I talked about us not being good defensively, right? But let me tell you guys something. As good as Jeremy Sohan may be, I don't see a major high ceiling in Jeremy Sohan. I hope I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But I just don't see Sohan being a star caliber player. I see him being a high level role player. That's what I see with Jeremy Sohan. And there's nothing wrong with that. You win championships with high level role players. Look at the Celtics. But when you have a guy like Lauri at his size with that skill set and that ability he has, he's already shown he's an all-star caliber player. He's somebody that I don't think is far-fetched to say can average 20 and 10 next to Wemby. Like, this is somebody that I think can still put up similar numbers that he's putting up right now next to Wemby. With the attention Wemby's going to have, can you imagine that skill set next to Wemby? The athleticism, the shooting ability. But dude, that is, I would definitely trade Jeremy Sohan for Lauri. I definitely would. Because you're getting a walking 20 and 10. And this is another reason why I would throw Jeremy Sohan. This is a name I haven't heard too much this offseason. I think we're going to hear more of him as Summer League starts. Sissoko. I'm really high on him. I'm not saying he's better than Jeremy Sohan. But if I'm going to trade Sohan for Lauri, I think Sissoko can do some of the things Sohan is able to do. especially on the defensive end. And I actually think he has a little bit more in the offensive tank than Jeremy Sochan has naturally. Sochan has gotten a lot better in the past couple years. I have no complaints about Sochan. So if anybody is in the comments say, oh my God, Sochan did this, Sochan did that, I'm a Sochan fan. But you got to give up something to get something. And I don't think we should give up Vassell. But I would put Sochan in that deal. I definitely would, because I think we have enough to replace Sochan with, whether it's improving Sissoko or using all 15 draft picks to find a Jeremy Sochan. But I don't think it's going to be easy finding a Lauri Markkanen. I don't think it's going to be easy finding a 20-10 guy at that size that you can put next to Wemby. Dude, that is going to – I don't think you guys are visualizing what Lauri next to Wemby would look like for the Spurs. That would be – I think that makes the Spurs a potential top 6 team in the West. You look at your front court. Your front court could be, what, Castle – if you keep, Castle probably starts at the 3 because you got Vassell there, and obviously CP3 is probably going to start the 1. So you got a front court of Castle, Lauri, Wemby, with Devin Vassell and Chris Paul in your backcourt, assuming they accept a trade with Jeremy Sochan, probably Keldon, and a couple picks. I'm sold on that starting 5. I don't see no issues with that 5. Chris Paul, Devin Vassell, Stephon Castle, Lauri Markkanen at the 4, who's a walking 20-10 next to Wemby, who could be 26-12 next year. I think that's a top 6 team in the West. I'm saying top 6 being nice. I actually think they can really compete in the West with that. That's just me. Now, hey, a lot of people are going to disagree because I know Jeremy Sochan is definitely a fan favorite. I don't think Sochan's ceiling is nowhere close to Lauri. I think defensively we won't have too much of an issue if we get bigger with the front court. Like right now you have Wemby and Sochan at the 4-5 pretty much, right? But you could play against a team like Minnesota, you're still outmatched. You get Lauri, nothing's coming in the paint. You're definitely protecting the paint, not just with Wemby, but with Lauri. Now Wemby don't have to use so much of his body and wear and tear against guarding everybody's bigs because you got Lauri, who's a threat. Then you put Chris Paul there. I know he's older, but you put a pass-first guard like Chris Paul with those 2 bigs, man, I think we need to rethink that, man. I would definitely put Jeremy Sochan in that trade. I'm sorry. I know some Spurs fans or a lot of Spurs fans going to disagree, but Jeremy Sochan can go for Lauri Markkanen, and I'm sorry. I would definitely do that. That is a move that I think puts us right in contention. Lauri still is somewhat young. He's like in the middle of his prime, so I don't think it's like, we're salvaging our whole future to get Lauri, but I just think Lauri next to Wemby is pretty elite, man. So let me know your thoughts. I want to see what y'all got to say. If y'all disagree, man, put it in the comments, man. Let's have a conversation about it. All right, but hey, Chris Paul, definitely behind that move. Good move. Good job, Brian Wright. I told y'all Brian Wright's playing chess. This is another chess move for San Antonio. So let's see what happens next. Like, comment, subscribe. We out.